Good afternoon, everyone. And as I said, there are some wonderful clouds building. I wonder if this is perhaps a sign of rain starting to build. That would be great for spring, for the start of spring. I don't think so. They don't look ominous enough just yet. And my name is Byron, and on camera with me this afternoon is Sebastian. And as I said, welcome to Safari Live. We are completely live, everyone. Don't forget, send us your questions and your comments at hashtag Safari Live via Twitter is how you do it. And we'll hopefully be able to answer all your questions and get through all your comments. We do appreciate hearing from all our viewers. It's a lovely warm day down in Djuma, down in South Africa, where we are at the moment. It is a bit windy, but it's about 22, 23 degrees Celsius, just over 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is a nice warm day, warmish compared to how it was this morning. It was very cold, but it is starting to warm up a little bit. So we are in search for animals. We had a bit of a quiet morning, but we've been very fortunate the last few days. So so myself and Sebastian here in Djuma had a bit of a quiet morning with animals, but there was lots of action in the Mara with James and Scott this morning. Lots of lions, there were cheetah, so it was all happening up there with the predators. We'll see what we can find this afternoon, maybe some elephant, and who knows, perhaps a predator or two pops out, which will be great. I've also been working on a birding list. I've been challenged to see how many birds we can get on camera for you, and we are on 86 species at the moment, which I'm very happy about, because it's difficult getting these little birds, especially the smaller ones, that dart from one tree to another on camera. It's not always easy, but we've done pretty well the last week and a half, so we'll see. I've got until next week Wednesday, next week Wednesday. So we'll try work on our birding again and see what we can get this afternoon. It's also World Vulture Day, speaking of birds. So we mentioned it this morning, and there's a lot of conservation that goes into the vultures, which is very important. We do have to look after them. They are a crucial part of the ecosystem. The vultures will clean up carcasses, and as we saw about a week ago, a few days ago, there were lions feeding on a buffalo carcass, and as soon as the lions moved off, the vultures came in and cleaned up that carcass completely. There was nothing left, just bones, absolutely nothing left. Nothing went to waste, which is amazing, actually, to think that all the scavengers and predators that fed off one carcass. So the vultures are very, very important, and there is a lot of conservation that goes into them. And today is World Vulture Day. Now, I'm going to continue driving around Djuma and see what we can find this afternoon. But let's go across to the Masai Mara now, and Taylor is up there, and apparently she has got some elephant.
Hello everybody, good afternoon. Well, of course, we're sitting out here with my favorite animal in the entire world. I think it's the first time I've actually put elephants on screen. No, we had some yesterday. Anyways, my name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is David, and I have not driven with David since April. It's been a long time. So actually, I think I did my interview drive when I first started out Wild Earth with David. So it's good to be back. Eh? First familiar face. It's nice to be back with the original family. But it's a beautiful day out here in the Mara. Remember, this is happening right now. So if you have any questions for us, please feel free. Well, you can send 3 questions through, but feel free to send as many questions as you like. Hashtag Safari Live if you can talk to us on the YouTube chat too. Hello, beautiful girl. Wow. Now, I haven't really had a close experience with the elephants just yet, and like I said, it's my favorite animal in the whole world, and I often spend hours upon hours sitting with elephants in the Sabi Sands, Djuma. It's my favorite thing, watching them swim at Chitwa Dam. It looks like they've had a couple of mud baths today, and it's been hot too. It started off, it was freezing cold in the early hours of this morning. We were out for quite a long shift. It was beautiful, and as we came back, the wind was howling, and it was really, really chilly, but that has changed, and the elephants have coated themselves in a nice layer of mud. But it's beautiful out here. We'll try before a little bit, and we're going to go and try and find some lions. I'm going to send you across now to Byron in the Sabi Sand.
Oh dear, so it sounds like Taylor has possibly got some gremlins over there on that side of the Mara, but not to worry, we will continue until they sort it out. I'm sure it'll be fixed very shortly, and we'll see what else they can find for us, so do apologize for that, but luckily you're with us, so we'll see. Seb, shall we go and find some animals? I'll also try to find some vultures. Now there is a vulture nest that we know off one of the roads, so we'll try and see if we can get a glimpse of a vulture in the nest on World Vulture Day, and we'll see what else I mean, the other day we had that young male leopard, Hosanna. It was very exciting. He walked through this clearing off to my right. He walked through, we managed to find him, and then he walked back, he did a big loop around, and he came off into this little drainage line off to our left. We couldn't find him that afternoon. We looked around, but not sure where he is. You never know with these young leopards. They move around a lot because they're not territorial yet. So they will cover huge distances, or not huge distances, but they'll cover a fair distance while they kind of feeling out the environment and the area that they are in. But that young male is still far too young to set up a territory. Male leopards generally start setting up territories at about probably 4 to 5 years old. So he's still got a way to go. He's only a year and a half old. So he's still got quite some time before he's big enough, strong enough, and mature enough to challenge other male leopards for territory. Well, this morning it was a bit tricky with the wind. It was a bit cold. Wait, you asked if we've seen any ostrich nests. We haven't even seen any ostriches, so never mind the nests. For some reason we just haven't seen ostriches for quite some time in the northern Sabi Sands. We saw tracks not so long ago. I think Taylor and Tristan saw tracks a few weeks ago, but we didn't get to see the ostrich, unfortunately. But there are ostriches in the Sabi Sands. They do occur in this area. We just haven't seen for a long time. I've seen the ostriches, to be honest with, they don't really build a nest. What they do is they just lay their eggs in an area on the ground, and usually it's in a sandy little spot, somewhere where they can sit on the eggs and incubate them. So it's not really a nest at all. It's just usually a sandy area. As I mentioned, they're just sorting out some technical issues in the Masai Mara, but I'm sure they'll be with us shortly, and then we'll see what is happening on that side of the continent. Kay, you said I should please look for a black-bellied bustard. You said it's your favorite bird. Now, I enjoy that black-bellied bustard too. A bit of a tongue twister. It's a wonderful, wonderful bird. It's got a great call. But Kay, can I tell you, for some reason, I have not seen or heard one for 2 months. I haven't seen or heard a black-bellied bustard in this area. I'm not sure where they are at the moment. Let me play the call for you quickly for those of you who haven't heard it before. Let me try. I can't really do the call very well. I know Herbie can do it. He's done it once or twice with Taylor. I think, yeah, let me try. It's like a something like that. I'll play it for you. Listen to this. You hear that? Right, listen again. I'll show you a picture of it too. hear that? Very funny. There we go. That's the black-bellied bustard. It's actually awesome to see them make that call. So, very similar looking to the red-crested Koran. It is related to the Koran, but it is known as the black-bellied bustard. So we'll see. We'll have a look for them. We will definitely try to find them. That would be a nice one to add to our list. I've been thinking of birds that I know we can get, that are here, that we can add to our list. The golden-tailed woodpecker. We haven't seen one of those on camera. Heard them and seen them fly, and then they've disappeared. But the golden-tailed woodpecker, the black-headed oriole. Also looking for the ground hornbills. We haven't seen the ground hornbills. Heard them the other day. Haven't seen them. A Burchell's kukul. Burchell's kukul and pied wagtail. That's 5 species. That'll get us over 90. That'll be wonderful. That'll be a great treat. Also, a palus or apelus. We need one of those. Bar-throated apelus. Apelus. Not sure how you pronounce some of the bird names. Sinak, you asking about that black-bellied bustard and that call. Is it used to attract a mate? It is indeed. It's a territorial call for one, and to attract a mate, and that's the other reason it does that. So exactly, Sinak. Just going to try get an update from the radio, on the radio, not from the radio. There are other guides out. As you know, there are many different lodges in this area, so we stay in radio contact with one another and just update each other if there are any tracks or anything that has been found for the afternoon or during the morning. Good afternoon, mobile stations. Wild Earth going mobile. Any updates for the afternoon so far, please? It doesn't sound like anybody wants to talk to me. Maybe no one's out yet. What's the time? It's possibly still a bit early for them. I haven't heard anyone yet. Did you hear that? I heard a funny sound, Seb. No. I just heard a funny sound in the car.
A snake or?
I'm not joking. Just hold on a second. I just heard something move here.
Really?
I'm just having a look. I don't want to be surprised by anything. Maybe it's my imagination. Maybe it's my imagination. Let's hope so. Just sounded like something Russ.
Really?
Anyway. We'll let you know if something pops up in the vehicle. Cindy, we have seen kingfishers, or a kingfisher, the brown-hooded kingfisher. Now, Cindy, the brown-hooded kingfisher does not migrate. It stays around throughout the year. So we have seen a few brown-hooded kingfishers, and they are on the list. I'll have a look out. Maybe we see another one and we'll show you this afternoon. It's always nice to see them. And they feed on insects. Despite the names, they feed on insects. They're just little birds flying around. I'm now having a look at every little bird that we see, just to make sure we don't have it. I think those were some golden-breasted buntings that flew off. Just a quick view of them. And there are indeed golden-breasted buntings. Just caught a glimpse of them. Excuse me a second. Let me just get on the radio again quickly. I now hear one of the guides out on drive. It sounds like there are lions on Hyena, or on Biffle's Hook, unfortunately. So just north of us. Now, we had a male lion drinking at Vulture Dam last night. So just listening. Yeah, so we had a lion drinking at Vulture Dam last night, or early this morning, at about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And it looked like he moved north, and we followed the tracks for a while, and he did cross over into Biffle's Hook. Now, it sounds like there are 2 males and a single lioness north of our boundary. Now, I'm sure a lot of you, speaking about the lions, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what has happened to those little cubs that we found, that Sebastian and I found the other day. We were with the lioness and one of the Unkahuma females. She took us to the den, and we got to see those young, beautiful young cubs. So I've seen tracks heading backwards and forwards in that area. But we're still very sensitive with going there. We don't want to disturb that area because those cubs are still very small. We will only go there if we manage to find the female and follow her back to the cubs. It's just out of, well, we need to be careful for one, and respectful, and sensitive towards those lions and those cubs. So the last few days, unfortunately, we haven't found her and followed her back to the den. But if we do, we will definitely show you, hopefully have another view of those cubs in the next few days. So we'll try. But I'm sure they're still okay. I'm sure they're still in that area. So we will keep an eye out and have a look for that female, and hopefully, I think it's possibly that female actually that is north of our boundary at the moment. So we should keep a lookout for her. But I think what's been happening is, I think she's been going back to that den early hours of the morning, and then moving off again during the day. And lions would do that. She will go back, suckle the cubs for a while, and then leave again and let them rest well, she had them in a thick drainage line, nice thick area, well hidden, and they would be safe over there. Roshni, well, I'm not sure if that den site would have been moved. I think because that female, we've had her tracks backwards and forwards, my thought is that no, she hasn't moved the den site yet. She may at some point, but I don't think she has. I think she's still in that area, or kept the den in that area, should I say. Now, as promised, we said we would try find a vulture on World Vulture Day. Unfortunately for us, there is one on the vulture nest at the moment. Let's try and get a good view, maybe through. Is that okay, Seb? Let's just try from here. Sammy Jane, you wanted us to check the nest. Well, look at that, our vulture on the nest. Now, I remember, what was it, 3 weeks ago, we did see chicks in that nest, but I haven't seen chicks moving around again recently. Now, I don't know if they're just well hidden up there, that we can't see them. But I also think that vulture wouldn't stay on that nest if there weren't chicks there. This vulture, white-backed vulture, by the way, this white-backed vulture has stayed on that nest and is there every day. So, but I wonder if there are still little chicks around. I can't see any movement there at the moment. So wonderful to see a vulture on a nest on World Vultures Day. Caged, you asked how big are vultures' eggs? I don't know. I've never seen a vulture egg. Let me have a look. I think the my bird app will tell me. Let's see. Okay, so let's have a look at this whiteback vulture and let's see. The egg is about 25 millimeters long or big. 25 millimeters. So I always get this wrong. Oh, I think I need to bring a ruler with me or a tape measure so I can get, it's 25 millimeters like that. I think that's about 25 millimeters, so about that size. What do you think, Seb?
Well, it's 2.5 centimeters.
Yeah, 2.5 centimeters. Yeah, about that. Which makes sense. I would have thought it would be a bit bigger, to be honest, because of the size of the vulture. And that is a picture of the egg. So, Cage, you asked about the egg. There we go. The picture of the egg, and it's about that big. You can use this phone as a scale. Bobby, you asked if another vulture species would try and take over that nest. Highly unlikely, Bobby, highly unlikely. I'm not sure. If it would ever happen, I can hear something flying. What does it? Sounded like Bateleur eagles. Sorry, Bobby, I'm just looking around. I think it was a pair of Bateleur. Oh wow, hang on, Seb. It's a bird we don't have. I think, let me try a reposition for you. This is exciting. A Bateleur eagle. Or a tawny eagle. So, the light is terrible. Now, some of you might be thinking, Byron, how can you get those two confused? I think it was actually a tawny eagle that was being mobbed by two African hawk eagles. I think so. Where are they?
Behind the trees over there.
Oh. Yeah, they were flying away from us, unfortunately. I think it was a tawny eagle that was being chased by two African hawk eagles. I caught a quick glimpse of them just flying off, but that very bright cloud made it difficult to identify them. But I heard the call, the alarm call from the eagle. That's what attracted me to that, or in that direction. But I think it was two African hawk eagles mobbing a tawny eagle. Oh, we need African hawk eagles too for our list. Chandler, now you are asking how long it takes the vulture chick to become an adult. I'm not sure, Chandler. Let's have a look quickly if I can find anything on that. Let's see. Sometimes these apps actually have a lot of information in them. Let's see. So it takes. They say the chicks are partially dependent on the adults for 5 to 6 months. So they are dependent on the adults for 6 months, up to 6 months. But they don't say. Sorry, I don't see anything of how long it actually takes them to reach maturity. No, I'm sorry. I've got nothing here for you. I don't know. This app hasn't got it. Did you see something there, Seb?
Oh yeah, there's a raptor in the tree there now. I see.
Oh, through there.
Yes, back to there, no?
Let's have a look. Let's see if we can. Sorry, is that okay?
Yeah.
It's a brown snake eagle.
Okay.
Well spotted. It's a brown snake eagle sitting up. Yeah, there we go. Again, the light is a bit tricky. There it goes. Oh, off it goes. You might still get it. Oh, well done. Well done, Seb. I can hear. Let me try and move forward a little bit.
Okay.
I can hear squirrel alarm calling. Excuse me. As that bird took off, the squirrel began to alarm call. Now they're still just sorting out some technical issues in the Mara. Apparently James unplugged something. He was tired and wanted a rest, so he unplugged something. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. They should have it sorted out fairly shortly. You are stuck with myself and Sebastian, though. I do apologize. Now have a look at it looks like the wind has blown those feathers a little bit of that brown snake eagle. Yeah, it's turned its face to us. Again, the glare is a bit tricky at the moment. Now, we've got that for the list. But always nice to see these birds of prey. Now that's great. The vulture is a scavenger, but I suppose it is a raptor. I suppose we could put it in that category. So nice to see these different raptors around. White-backed vulture, brown snake eagle, and what I think was a tawny eagle and 2 African hawk eagles. So that's nice. Jenny, now with all this birding, and this goes back to Byron's tip of the day that I did for a while. I try and mix it up a little bit. I try to do something different every time I come through, and maybe next time I'm here I'll do tip of the day again. But my one tip was get a good pair of binoculars when you come out on safari. They are crucial. Definitely needed for when you come out on safari. I can see some wildebeest walking in front of us. So Jenny, you were asking what size binoculars are good for birding. So usually a 10 by 42. Now I don't know what the measurements are, but you can just ask anywhere that you go what binoculars you choose. There's a 10 by 42, or I think there's also an 8 by 42. There you go, the wildebeest. Oh. The Djuma migration, everyone. That's our wildebeest population. You can see over there. all 10 of them. How many are there? I can't believe it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think there's exactly 10 there.
That one on the left. Oh.
There's exactly 10. What a guess. So the 10 wildebeest of the Djuma migration currently moving from the left-hand side of the road to the right-hand side. There's no rivers to cross here. So, Jenny, 10 by 42. I think the 10 is the size of the diameter of the binocular. So when you look through the viewfinder, the diameter of the what would you call that? Terminology again. The eyepiece, basically, yeah. And then 42, I don't know what that means either. But I know 10 by 42 is the average I suppose size for good binoculars for birding, and then obviously if they're good for birding, they'll be wonderful for game viewing, because sometimes you do see animals in the distance, and it helps to have binoculars. Lorena, that was very funny. You say, don't sneeze, we might miss the migration. That is funny. Not quite the abundance of wildebeest like I have up in the Mara at the moment. Well, it started off really warm when we got onto the vehicles, but now the temperature has dropped. The clouds have slowly moved in a bit. Those clouds that we showed at the beginning of the show, or the start of the show, there you can see them. Some beautiful clouds around, but they they are making it quite chilly at the moment. There's some oxpeckers that flew over us now too. Seb, shall we go and check the dam perhaps? Let's go down to the waterhole and see, and then question from I didn't do it. I like that Twitter handle, I didn't do it. You asked, is it usual for it to be this chilly this time of year? It's actually unusual. It's slightly unusual. But to be honest, we didn't have a very cold winter. And am I right, Seb? I didn't find this winter extremely cold here. Not here, yeah.
A few days, but
there were a few days that were chilly, but it wasn't anything to really, write home about. It wasn't that bad. It is unusual now for September, but you see what happens is August and September can be quite windy. So what happens is this wind brings in these fronts, and it'll be chilly for a day or two, and then it'll warm up again. So I think by tomorrow it should be quite warm again, and so we should. It should change, but it's not bad. I mean, I'm in short pants and I've just got a top on. Sebastian's in a t-shirt but he says he's starting to get a bit chilly. He's going to put a jersey on shortly. Hope all of you are having a wonderful weekend, wherever you are. Chatty Meg, good afternoon, Meg. You were asking for that owl with the pink eyeshadow. Now, those of you who haven't seen it, it's the giant eagle owl, also known as the Verreaux's eagle owl. Now, Meg, I have been searching every day for that owl, and we drove past it this morning and it wasn't there. I think it must have moved. I'm sure it's still in that area, but maybe just further up the drainage line. I'll have a look again this afternoon for you. I know you want to see it desperately, but I've been checking every drive to see if we can find that giant eagle owl. However, we've had no luck. I see another wildebeest through the thicket on this side. We always come down here in hope of seeing something drinking. Sorry, Meg, you broke up there a little bit. Let me just show you that Impala across the way. Charlie, you were asking, how do the wildebeest compare in size compared to the zebra? Well, let me give you weights here, and I think I'll be able to give you shoulder height too. Well, the wildebeest I wonder actually, in terms of shoulder height, I think a wildebeest might be a bit taller. Oh, now this will be interesting to find out. Beautiful light on that Impala now, though. Now, the plains zebra is about 290 to 340 kilograms. So let's call it 320 kilograms. Let's give it an average 320 kilograms. So that's about 700 pounds, I'd say, somewhere around there. The wildebeest is about 250 kilograms. So only around 550 pounds, somewhere around there. So zebra is heavier than a wildebeest. But now let's look at shoulder height. The shoulder height of a blue wildebeest is about 1.5 meters, and the plain zebra is about 1.3 meters tall. So just as I thought, the wildebeest is a bit taller, but it's a slender animal, so not as bulky as a zebra. You know, the zebra do look like they are carrying a bit of weight. So size-wise, a wildebeest slightly taller but slender, and a plain zebra slightly shorter but definitely much heavier. There's actually a lovely reflection of that Impala on the water. As it's walking away there. Now let's just scan around here. Are there perhaps any birds that we can add to our list? I can hear a white-browed scrub robin. I can hear a Cape turtle dove. It's interesting to see this male Impala, this Impala ram by himself. Usually you find them in bachelor herds, especially this time of year. Seb, would you like to do your... Yeah, let me just move the vehicle for you quickly. So Sebastian's been doing photographs from the same spot for the last... How long has it been now, Sebastian? A month, right. So what he's doing is he's going to be doing a time lapse. So he has been taking a photograph from the same position every day for the last month, and we're going to keep doing it right up until December, January. And then he's going to put a time lapse together of how the vegetation, how the scenery and everything has changed from winter through to summer, and it's going to be wonderful to see, I'm sure. So Sebastian is off, just taking a photo. Look up behind you, Sebastian. Didn't work, he didn't get a fright. So it sounds like James unplugged something terrible in the Mara. They are trying to fix the problem, everyone. Don't worry. I'm joking about James, though. I'm sure he's probably out in a vehicle, and I doubt he'd be very happy about the technical issues. But they are trying to fix it. So for the meantime, as I said, you stuck with me. Sorry. Well, at least we'll try our best to get to 100 birds. So I just want to know now, Megan, would we be able to go to Chitwa Dam? Probably not, hey? We may try head down. We may try, but I think we'll head that way slowly. We'll try, because we've also had a few issues with one of the masts the last day or two. We're trying to fix it. Sebastian and I have become the tech guys the last few days. Yep. So I'm going to make my way down towards Chitwa. Hopefully we have quite a bit of action around the dam. That's the main reason I want to go there, is for some of the birding around the water. Roshni, you asked what is my favorite part about guiding. There is a lot I really enjoy about it, and that's why I've been doing it for so long. Roshni, I think there goes a little flycatcher. We've seen it. Sorry, a southern black tit. I just caught a glimpse of one. We've seen those. So Roshni, I think for me, one of the things I love most about guiding is being able to interpret the bush to foreigners and to allow them to understand nature and the wildlife a lot better in Africa. And in turn, I think that then gets a message of conservation across to whoever comes out here. So I think, with the guiding, I think it plays a huge role in conservation. It's something that gets people out to Africa, and by people coming out to Africa and coming on safari, the money that is pushed into those lodges helps conserve the areas. So tourism goes hand in hand with conservation, without a doubt. And I think that's one of the joys I get out of it, is knowing that we are doing our bit for conservation, for nature, for wildlife. But like I said, teaching people about the bush, expanding their knowledge on animals and wildlife and the behavior that we get out here, that is very rewarding for me, and I do enjoy that. I also, I just enjoy having fun with people out here. I think there's a slight misconception about nature and wildlife and the animals we get, that some people are very nervous and some people are very scared. Don't get me wrong, you definitely need to have a firm understanding of wildlife and also respect. Respect for wildlife is very important, for the animals, for the wild animals. They are wild animals, they're not pets. But at the end of the day, you can still have fun in the bush. You can still have fun on your bushwalk, on your safari, on your drive. You can enjoy it and laugh, and that's important, I think, for any holiday, but especially when you come out here, because it's made to have fun. So seeing the animals, all a bonus, and that's why you come out here. But there's no need, and I think again from a guiding perspective, making people understand there's no need to be afraid, there's no need to be nervous. Just have respect and be cautious, but enjoy it. Enjoy what you see and have fun while you do it. That for me, all those things, all of that, I think is very important in what I enjoy about doing what I do. Now, Heba, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Heba, you asked what is one of the closest encounters I've had with an animal. The closest I've had has been with an elephant, and I know some of the viewers have heard the story before. Just hold on a second, Heba. I just want to check. This is our hole where the genet is usually. Let's see if it's around. No genet. I don't know where it is. I have no clue where our little genet has gone. It may possibly still be hiding in that hole somewhere, but for some reason we haven't been lucky enough to see it. the last few times we've been here. Maybe it's moved, maybe it's got other holes around. But so I was just thinking that story of the elephant that I was mentioning, that's been the closest encounter, but it wasn't with guests. I was by myself. We had an elephant in camp and we had to try and get it out, and we were following it. It was making its way to the entrance of the camp, so we thought as soon as it gets there we'll maybe clap our hands, make a bit of a noise. Elephants don't like it, they'll move away. But this elephant was really unhappy because it had bumped into a lot of people in the camp, and it was just aggravated, and that was our fault, not the elephant's fault. I'm just trying to have a look here quickly, because there's that little pearl spotted owl is in the hole. No, I don't see anything up there. That little hole that Sebastian's focusing on, it's not up there at all. Just worth a look. Once you find these little holes where these animals hide, it's nice to have a look and see if they are there when you drive past. So anyway, so this elephant came into camp. He was obviously upset, bumping into a lot of people. And what happened was, myself and a friend of mine, were sent to try and get this elephant out. And he was approaching the entrance to the camp, and we thought we'd follow him and wait till he got closer, make a noise and chase him out. But he caught us out the corner of his eye. He saw us, and because he was unhappy already, he turned and charged. No warning, he'd had enough of people. My friend he ran away, and I was left standing. And with elephant, generally, if you get a charge or a mock charge, you stand your ground. You're meant to stand your ground, make a noise, and they should stop. This elephant didn't stop, and he got close. Eventually, I decided to turn and try and run, but I slipped. I was on a bit of an embankment, so uneven ground, and I slipped and I fell flat on my back, landed there, and I thought, well, this is it, I might as well roll with the punches. And I did this, and as I looked up, the elephant stopped. It must have been, if you can see where this bush is, so let me jump off here quickly and show you. I would say, can you see this, Seb? I think I lay down here, round about here, and the Impala chasing one another. And the elephant stopped at this little stump, so about 4 or 5 meters from me. There was dust and a bit of a trumpet. I got a fright, but the elephant stopped. He didn't decide to harm me. And then as soon as he turned around, I then jumped up and ran to the closest little house in the camp. And then he turned and he ran out of camp and he disappeared. So that was the closest encounter I've ever had with an angry animal. But again, that was our fault. There were the people around. The elephant was upset because he was being surrounded by people walking through the camp and running and making a noise. So, and also that elephant was an elephant that we used to see regularly in and around the camp. And at night, I remember, I'll never forget this, one of my favorite things. This elephant would come into camp and feed on the vegetation. It was a bull. And I would often go out to hear him feeding and then stand very close to him. 5-10 meters at times on the patio of my room at the time, and I would just watch this elephant quietly, and he definitely knew I was there, but he would feed and there was never an issue. And this elephant, I'm almost certain, I do think that he recognized me, maybe the smell, and then realized that I wasn't a threat, and that's why he stopped and turned. I don't know, but I think these animals are so intelligent, and I think far more intelligent than we realize. And I think that's possibly why he stopped. But I mean, I love elephants. I really do. And I do think that he might have thought, well, this individual isn't here to harm me, but he was warning me not to go any closer. So it was an amazing experience. And I live to tell the tale, so that's a good thing. I'm just going to have a sip of water here quickly, everyone, if you don't mind, please. It's thirsty work doing these game drives. Oh, hang on. Sebastian spotted some elephant. Speaking of the elephant, there's some ahead. Seb, I must be... There we go. I was like, wow, I can't see it. And they're crossing on the side. That's exciting. And they're going down towards the drainage line. Hopefully we'll get a nice view of them. I wonder... That's awesome. Speaking about the elephant and then arrive first and then in the right direction. I'm quickly going to shoot them this way because I think we'll get a better view of them. I don't know how many there were at herd, so let's see. There's one or two in here. There we go. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, it looks like a whole herd. They are moving. I'm just trying to see. You know what? Let's have a view from here first, and we'll watch them. It looks like they're moving down towards the drainage line, towards the Mulawati. Now they might be a little bit nervous, and I'll tell you why. Let me just try reposition, or position rather, and I'll tell you why. They might react differently to us. Sorry about the angle there, Seb. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, a number of elephant around here. That is wonderful. That is such a nice surprise. So as I was saying, I think they might be a little bit nervous, and the reason for that is because of the windy conditions we are experiencing at the moment. I spoke about this morning. Some of the antelope, they were all hiding in the thickets. Now, with these windy conditions, the animals are a bit nervous because they can't hear or smell as well. So those are senses that they rely on a lot, especially the elephant. So they do react a little bit differently when it is windy. But we'll take our time, sit here quietly, and they should relax. I think they've relaxed now. I'm just going to try roll forward a little bit for you, Seb. I think we might be able to get a better view. Let me forward through here. That's a nice view. Now, Tucker, who's 5 years old. Good afternoon, Tucker. Hope you are having a lovely day or evening, wherever you are. And you asked, would the elephants go into the water and play if there are crocodiles around? Tucker, most definitely. We've seen those elephants at Chitwa Dam when they've gone and swum in the dam and played around in the water. Actually, I'm going to just reposition again for us. Sorry, everyone. These elephants are moving around a lot. Seb, I'm going to try to go this side for the light. So, Tucker, the elephants go into that dam and they swim and they play. So it just shows you that they don't mind the crocodiles, but they are cautious. Oh, there we go. There are a few elephant around here for us. Is that okay, Seb?
Yes, thank you.
Much better. So, as I was saying, Tucker, yeah, the elephants still go into the water, even if there are crocodiles around, but they will be cautious, they will be careful. Oh, watch these elephants going down this embankment, down into the drainage line. I was hoping they'd hang around, but they look at them crossing through there. Wonderful. Well, Sinak, your question, I just touched on that with regards to the wind, and you were asking about the sensors. And as I was saying, it does definitely make a difference, and the animals are a little bit more aware and alert when it is windy, because the wind will affect their senses. They can't hear or smell as well as they usually do when it's not windy. Oh, that's a wonderful view. Look at that little one. Now, Natalie, you asked if elephants can get sunburnt, and especially the young elephants. Now, Natalie, I don't think so. I've never ever heard of elephants being sunburnt. I'm not sure. I wonder. Look, if they were really exposed, I don't think so. Natalie, just now that I think about it, I'm thinking of hippo. I've heard of hippo being sunburnt, being too exposed in very harsh conditions during droughts, and them being sunburnt, but not elephant. Not elephant. I think the elephant's skin, that dark grey, thick, fairly thick hide, even at a young age, I don't think they have anything to worry about regarding sunburn. Let me reverse for you a little bit there, Seb. Let's get that branch out the way. Is that a bit better? There we go. Isn't this a beautiful view? On the edge of a drainage line. I love these thicker areas and the drainage lines. There's always something going on. You never know. You could bump into leopards moving through here. There will be a few antelope species. The bird life is generally a lot better. And also elephant. Now, these elephants are most likely moving through here because the vegetation is still so good. And the reason for that is because the water table takes a lot longer to disappear down here. This is where all the water would move through during the rainy season. And these dry riverbeds or dry drainage lines, when it rains heavily, then you'd most likely get them flowing a little bit. But otherwise, the water table will be very low. So animals can come down and even find water. We've seen the elephants digging in this riverbed before to find water, and they have found water. And then the vegetation is obviously a lot better and a lot greener around here. Still, even now. It's so lovely and peaceful just sitting watching these elephants. Riti, you were asking if the baby elephants when they become independent, do they move on or do they stay within the herd? They stay within the herd completely. Sometimes, Riti, what will happen is the young males will move off, most likely. Once they reach a certain age, they kind of get pushed out of the herd a little bit. And the reason for that is they then have to go off and probably meet up with a big dominant bull, and he will teach them how to be successful, how to look for females, where to find the best food. And often you find these young bulls moving with the older males, and then once they reach full maturity, look at all of them moving through there. That's lovely. Once they reach full maturity, then they will try and mate with females. But the young females, as they grow up, they just stay within the herd. The herd is basically a large family group. And they're moving straight through that drainage line. I wonder if we can't go around quickly. We might get another view of them from up above. Let's go have a look. Shall we move, Seb?
Yes.
Alright. Okay, well, apparently we've got a wonderful catch-up clip of some elephants playing in the Mulwati. So let's have a look at that quickly while I try and reposition the vehicle.
Oh, look at Oops, it. There we go. Don't fall off. No. So this is all just games that they're just having a bit of fun together. As soon as it gets serious, you would find that the whole herd would come. I don't think he even knows what he's doing. Looks as though he's about to power. Oh! Whoopsie. Definitely too much to drink. Isn't that crazy? You know, you can see here comes another one. What are you doing? Come, get up. You're not allowed to lie down like that. Oopsie, we're going sliding down the bank by the looks of it, head first into the sand. Oh, here we go. That's awesome. That's going to... Oh, here we go. This is crazy.
The kids at the beach.
Kids are at the beach, exactly, Seb. Things are out of control. Is that other female still right behind us?
Yes.
So there's another female, as you can see. That's Granny, that's behind us. She's an old female with sunken temples, quite a wrinkled body. But she's just watching the kids. And then the kids are over there having a little bit of a game. And there's another two in front of us that might join shortly as well, because they're also pushing each other around. Now, I know I said it a few times earlier, but this is epic. It doesn't get any better than this.
And you see, just something like that is wonderful to watch, that interaction, the playfulness of the elephant that Tristan had in that clip. I'm just going to try and move down this riverbed. I think our signal's okay. If it does black out for a second, don't worry, it should come up again. I know I've had a sighting down there before, and it should be fine, because the elephants are all down in this drainage line. So stick with us. I'm sure it'll be okay. Let's see if we can get a closer view of these elephants. Have they moved out already? No, right here. Moving through here, but at least we've still got a nice view of them. Megan, oh, great, that's good news. Sinak, you asked why the elephants have wrinkly skin. Well, it's so that they've got room to grow. Sinak, I'm only joking. I don't know. From my understanding, Sinak, I think there is moisture which gets trapped in those folds of the skin, and it helps protect the elephant's skin somewhat. I think that's why that wrinkly skin, and I think that touches on, again, what we spoke about earlier about the sunburn and that. I think with a bit of that moisture, it helps keep the skin from reacting badly to the sun. I would assume. Now, all of that is just a theory that I've thought of. I don't think it's 100% correct. But I do think the wrinkles, obviously, there to protect the elephant from harsh conditions. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, look at this beautiful female coming out towards us. Just a bit of sun on her forehead. Samantha, you asked, can a crocodile hunt or kill an elephant? Now, Samantha, I know Steph was touching on this the other day. Possibly the young babies, when they are moving through rivers or big dams, if there are big crocodiles around, they might be in a bit of danger of the big crocodiles, but the adults are very protective over them. I've seen clips, I've never actually witnessed it myself, but I've seen clips in Botswana, Zambia, where the elephants have to cross a lot of big rivers. There are big crocodiles up there, and the crocodiles actually try their luck and go for a big elephant. I've never heard of a crocodile actually killing a large elephant, but you'll see elephants with tails missing or parts of their trunks being bitten off. That's all from crocodiles. But again, it just shows the crocodiles see anything as potential food, but the chances of them killing a big elephant are highly unlikely. I can really sit and watch elephant for hours. Love spending time with them. Well, it sounds like perhaps the Mara have fixed some technical issues and chased away some of the gremlins. So why don't we go across now to Steph in the studio, who's watching those wonderful river cams.
Welcome to the, migration control is what James likes to call it, or the AIRI. My name is Stefan Tabor, and you've come all the way from Byron down in the Sabi Sands, 3,500 miles north to Kenya, where I'm sitting above the Masai Mara Game Reserve, and I'm about to show you a few of the cameras that we have. And we have some static cameras placed around the place. We have them on the most prominent river crossings around, and this afternoon has offered up its fair share of prizes for us. Now, if I could ask that we go to cul-de-sac crossing so that I can show you what we've got there. Look at this. We've got some action going on here, two different sets of action in fact, we've got a dead wildebeest in the foreground, but what is active at the moment is in the background there. I want to go and see what is actually going on over here. I don't actually know. Oh, it's another dead wildebeest. That means that there's been a crossing somewhere, and what's happened is wildebeest have got stuck somewhere. I think these wildebeest are, I don't think it happened today, just judging from the level of bloatedness on these carcasses. I actually think that this probably happened yesterday or the day before, and they've now floated down, and what's happened is these crocodiles have been able to tuck in and just look at this giant crocodile going for the soft belly on this wildebeest carcass. For those of you that are a bit squeamish, if this crocodile does manage to break into this carcass, we probably will see the insides of this wildebeest, and it may or may not be something that you want to watch. So just expect the unexpected here. This crocodile is busy feeding. What it's done is either consciously or subconsciously, it's put this wildebeest carcass onto a mud flat, and that has allowed it to gain some purchase, and that will allow it to leverage itself and its weight onto the carcass. So crocodiles can only open and shut their jaws. They can't move their jaws from side to side, and this makes it very difficult to chew off pieces of meat. So what they do, generally speaking, is use their bodies to rotate in a circle called a death roll. That dismembers and disembowels prey, and that then breaks off chunks of meat that they then stick their head out of the water and swallow whole. They don't chew anything, relying on their gastric juices to break down the protein and the bone and the hair and everything else into more manageable chunks, or at least into a fluid that they then can absorb in their quite enlarged small intestine, and then it moves through their quite small large intestine, if that makes any sense. So meat eaters have a fairly large stomach, enabling them to bolt food down. They then have a fairly large intestine and a fairly short intestine, and the reason for that is that meat goes off and creates gas and creates nasty toxins. And so what they try to do is make sure that that they pass this putrefying meat through their system as quickly as possible. And that is why most of your carnivores have such a short, small intestine. But anyway, that is now what we've got is a yellow-billed stork that has come up. And what the yellow-billed stork is doing is quite interesting. The yellow-billed stork hunts by feeling for prey with its beak, and it is attracted to the wildebeest carcass because fish will be attracted to the wildebeest carcass, specifically catfish and other small invertebrates, and they will then be trying to feed on the wildebeest carcass, and that bird is then fishing for them. What is this crocodile going to go and do? Let us see what is going on here. What is this? He's just giving his little wildebeest teddy bear some love. What are you going to do, big guy? Is he going to bite in? Quite often what happens is as soon as these crocodiles start to feed, it'll start to bring in other crocodiles and it becomes a bit of a feeding frenzy. And I think that even just the shaking around, wow, look at the power of this thing. Dragging that carcass. There we go. You saw how he lifted its head. Now this wildebeest is actually floating free and is now off of the mud bank. That crocodile will definitely follow this wildebeest. It's going to take some time though. So why don't we send you over to James quickly and see what he's got for you.
Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good day, whatever time of the day it happens to be where you are. Here we have a number of wildebeest, and just beyond them you might notice about 100,000 wildebeest, I think, covering the hills the other side. It's lovely to have you with us. I do apologize, as I'm sure Steph has, for the delay in the Mara feed. We've had a couple of internet troubles. They're well beyond, of course, the capacity of my small brain to understand. My name is James Hendry. That should be sufficient time. And you can talk to us using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Otherwise, you can use the chat in the YouTube stream. Now, making his debut with me today in the Mara is Craig Summit. There we are. Very nice. Otherwise known, of course, as Batman. It's very nice to have Batman up here. He swooped in there with Alice, who is in my ear. And it's very pleasant to have both of them with us here in East Africa, as it is pleasant to have you. Now, our plan, of course, as always, during the migration season is to find predators and see how they are interacting with the herds. We found one group of lions that wasn't interacting with anything other than the inside of their eyelids. They've been sleeping heavily for the last little while. Those are the ones that Scott had this morning. We're just going to go and knock about here, see what we can find, and perhaps we'll find another pride before sundown. Otherwise, we'll go back to the other one until sundown and see what they get up to. In the meantime, I believe that Taylor would like to say hello to you again. 2 hellos from Taylor in one afternoon. What a privilege.
Hello, hello. Does that count as 2 hellos? We've just been bumbling about. We actually just stopped quickly for a quick snack, and also we did some maintenance. We had to change our spotlights around, so thank you, Darby, for doing that for me. Have a look what I've got. I haven't even put an eland on screen yet, but here we have one. Let me get a good spot. We're on our way towards some lions. We'll get there eventually. Hello, eland. They are such majestic antelope, don't you think? Now, I've told you lots of stories of my encounters with eland in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. Aren't they beautiful? I haven't seen one in a very, 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 very long time, so it is really nice to see them again. A couple of zebra walking through too. Oh, there's another eland. Hello. There's 2. I actually haven't seen many of them. I've seen 1 or 2 up on the escarpment, which is not unusual. They're really well adapted antelope, the eland. I mean, they can survive in very arid regions where minimal water is around, and then of course they can also survive in these sort of lush places too. No one's using the luxury facilities, but it's lovely. It's not windy out here. It's actually a beautiful afternoon. It doesn't look like there's any rain coming in just yet, but I won't hold my breath in saying that. Who knows? The rain seems to just arrive when it wants to. But we're going to keep heading towards We're going to go towards Hippo pools now, I think. Jana was telling us that there were a couple of lion prides around there, so we'll go and see who's lurking about. We did find the Agama pride too. They had a very small wildebeest kill. They weren't really up too much, so if we don't get successful around here, we'll probably go back to the Agama pride. A young wildebeest is not going to sustain them for too long, so maybe we see some action a little bit later. But I'm going to send you across to Steph, who's manning the river cams. Let's see what he's got.
This wildebeest carcass has now floated a substantial distance down the river and has solicited the attention of a number of crocodiles who come in, investigate it, take a bite or two, and then have just let it drift along. And I'm not 100% sure what's going on here. There seems to be some or other type of social interaction going on with these crocodiles, I'll be honest with you. There's an enormous crocodile that you can see just on the right-hand side of the screen. He's going broadside. That there is a display. Watch how his head will come out of the water now, and his tail, hopefully. No, he's moving off. I don't know these crocodiles, you know. I must be honest with you. What we think we know about crocodile behavior is changing, or at least what I think I know about crocodile behavior is changing almost every day. Quite obviously happened there was this big crocodile that is center of the screen left is chased away this giant of a crocodile center of the screen right, and they've let an entire carcass just sort of disappear on them. He's now swimming upstream. It's a giant of a crocodile. You can see how his body is far lower than the rest of him, and that wake. Yaku, you want to know how crocodiles digest bone? When they can't bite it, I'm assuming, because they're not like a hyena, they can break the bone into smaller chunks. Yaku, I would imagine that they do definitely have stronger tummy acids and tummy juices than what we do, for instance. And so they don't need as much surface area for things to work on. And so I would imagine that they lose a lot of nutrients because they can't shatter bone. But that it doesn't matter because their tummy juices are just so strong that that they're able to get enough food just, you know, from what they've got, from being able to dissolve what they've got in their tummies. You don't see crocodiles chewing a lot. You see them biting, tearing, ripping, and then what they'll do is they'll swallow chunks of meat whole. And their feces is these massive clumps of basically just undigested meat and bone and fur. But it's a clump. In other words, you can't distinguish bits and pieces of bone. And that's how I'm drawing my conclusion that their tummy juices are actually relatively strong. Even in the thing like hyena, you can sometimes get the bone chips and hooves and some hair. Sometimes, not always. Most of the time, the only time that you get that is in regurgitation. All right, what are we going to do is send you all the way back down to Byron, who's actually got a crocodile of his own.
We do indeed, and we've got signal down at Chitwa Dam. And because it is nice and sunny, the crocodiles are out sunning themselves, warming themselves up. It has been cold, so they will try their best to stay warm. This is nice. So now I'm trying very hard to add to our bird list. Now, Sinak, you were asking if I've ever heard of crocodiles attacking water birds. Look, I'm sure they do, and I've seen clips of crocodiles trying to grab, I think, sandgrass and that coming down to drink at times. Like I said, anything that comes down to drink is potential food or prey for crocodiles. But not often. I've seen birds walk really close to the crocodiles, Sinak, and nothing really happens. They tend to lie very still and not move. scanning around the dam at the moment. You can hear some high-pitched whistling. That's all the water thickneys that are calling at the moment. I don't see any birds that we don't have. I think we've got everything around here at the moment. We should look for the weavers. There's actually village weavers around here that we need to get. So maybe we see one of them. I'm going to scan very carefully. But look at the wonderful hippo. Is that one of the young ones? Looks like it. One of the younger hippo. Always nice to see the hippo around here. Where are these weavers? Now I've seen them here before, the village weavers. Beautiful yellow weavers, but for some reason I can't see one today. Still quite windy here at the dam too, but very peaceful, and it's lovely with all the bird life, the animals around here. Like I saw one or two waterbuck in the distance moving along the banks right on the other side. I don't think we'd be able to see them. I was just scanning with my binoculars. And then obviously the crocodiles and the hippo. There's always a lot going on at the dams. Zooman, you asked how many crocodiles do we have in this dam. I've seen, well, there are two here you can see on the banks at the moment, and I've seen one or two smaller ones. So I don't really know, but I would say there's 3 or 4 that I have seen. I was hoping we'd get a black crake or a weaver here, or the pied wagtails, but there is nothing. That is unfortunate. Now, I actually want to try reposition onto the dam wall. See if we can't see anything down there and down in the drainage line. So I'm going to move. I hope we don't have a signal issue. That's like this little section is just tricky. So I think while I move, why don't we go across to my friend James and find out how his afternoon is going, cheer him up a little bit, and see what he's got. I think he's got some wildebeest to show you.
Hello, everybody. If I say that again, you can all collectively smack me over the back of the head. I've said, hello, everybody, every time I've been live for the last 2 weeks. Anyway, what we have there is a lovely silhouette of some wildebeest moving across the top. I'd love to make it a more romantic thing, but it's a borrow pit. And there's water in the borrow pit, and that's why there's such a concentration of animals here. Isn't it amazing? Now, while we watch them, I wanted to say something about the movement of wildebeest and how they move, and I'm going to see if we can't find an example of what I'm going to show you. I'm not sure how many of you are going to find this interesting, but I was a horseman of some repute at one stage of my existence, and I thought I'd share this with you. Can we, Craigus, come back towards one of the wildebeest on the ground here? And if you watch this one walking, there we are, and that one's not walking, Craig, that one's eating. There we go. Now, obviously, it's got 4 legs, and when it walks, it has what we call a 4-beat gait. So it goes left foot, left front, then right back, then right front, then left back. If you watch how it's walking there, you see that? Okay. Now, when it trots, it'll do left front, right back together, along with right front and left back. So it's 2 beats, chop, 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 chop. But when they go into a gallop or a canter, let me just try and drive a little bit, and we'll see if we can't find one doing that. Right, there, straight in front of us. Right. Now, how that works is, and I bet you've probably never thought of it like this, they lead with the outside back leg. So that wildebeest there was running. First, the back left leg went down first, then the front left and back right, so they went down opposite at the same time, and then the front right. So it's 1, 2, 3. Tick, 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 tick. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so far so good. Now you understand how they're cantering. But as you can see, they're leading with 1 leg at a time. So let me just try and come on, just give us a little canter. Let's try and get one to do slightly more than a little trot. There we go. You see the one cantering there? Stopped cantering along, obviously. Here, this one's going to go now. Here we go. Watch, watch, watch. See, it's leading with its right front leg. You get that, right? Now, that is obviously extremely unbalanced if it's not turning right. If it's turning left, it's got to lead with their outside leg, and that's going to be very uncomfortable. But if you watch them carefully, and they're obviously not going to do it now, they do what's known as a flying change. They change the conformation of the canter so that they then lead with the left leg, so that they're much more balanced if they're turning left versus if they're turning right. So they do that almost at will. And it's not something you would have ever noticed unless you know horses and you've tried to ride horses. And trying to teach a horse how to do what these things do just as a matter of course takes a huge amount of skill. And it's it's a sort of advanced thing that you teach a horse how to do. It's called a flying change. And what's interesting, from my point of view, and I could easily be boring you to death here. I am boring you to death, so we're going to go straight across to Byron. Apparently he's got a leopard.
Look at this, everyone. We've managed to find a young leopard. I think this might be Thamba. I can't have a good look, but it looks like he might actually head into Chitwa camp. Let's see if we can get a view of him quickly. He's just moving through there. Just shows you these animals will move anywhere. They really will. So let's see if we can get a glimpse of him quickly. There he is. He's still there. Oh, you can see this is actually the fence of the camp, just to try and keep the elephant out, because elephants can damage the camp. But all the other animals still move through the camp. And there he goes. What a nice surprise to find this leopard. But it's amazing how comfortable he is moving through the camp. It just shows you, everyone, I've spoken about this before, how cautious you have to be when you are on safari, even in the camp. Always be aware, because animals do move through the camp from time to time. Hold on a second, I'm just going to move for us quick. Let's see if we can get another view of him. There he goes. I wonder what he's going to look for in. That's amazing. Just shows you how comfortable these young leopards are. You can most likely smell people around and knows there are people here. But these young leopards tend to be a bit brave and curious. They're very inquisitive. They'll move straight through a camp. But lovely views of him though. What a great surprise. Now, let's see if we can get another view somewhere. Now, I'm afraid I think this leopard has gone straight towards the workshop in Chitwa, which is not ideal. I'm just trying to see if I can get a glimpse of him again. Yeah, I don't think we'll see him through there. It's a bit tricky.
Yeah, that's a block.
Yeah, it's very thick through there, everyone, at the moment. Just trying to have a look. Don't point and touch the fence, Seb. Let's just have a look if we can see him. I can't see him at all.